Hi, I'm Dorothy. I live in a road in Islington. 200 yards up there is the A1, which is the main road out of London, but we're in this quiet residential street, and because Islington has so little green space, we're trying to make as much advantage as possible of all of the bits of earth we've got. And so one of the places to start is in tree pits, like this one here. It's November, so there's not much to see today. Obviously all the leaves are coming down. This is a mature tree. It's a lime tree, which is a classic London tree, and it's got these shoots coming off, which we need to kind of remove because they'll come up through the trees. But the thing that we have got here is hollyhocks. And again, they don't look very exciting in November, but if you look at what they look like when they're in full bloom, it's pretty impressive. And what's fantastic about hollyhocks is they're great for bees, as long as they're the single ones, not the double ones. And they self-sow, so these ones have been coming back now for several years since I planted them. And they were free because I got the seeds from somebody else who happened to have hollyhocks. So they're a great choice for a tree pit. So here's another tree pit. This one's outside my house, and I planted it probably first about 12 years ago. Usually has hollyhocks in it, but this year they didn't come up, so there are other things. And again, you can see it's got these leaves coming up, so they need to come out. It's very easy to see which are the tree leaves because they are attached to the tree, and they've got these lovely heart-shaped leaves. So it's a good idea to take these out because they can't spread all over the pavement. If you don't take them out, the council will, and they might not be quite as delicate with your planting as you would like them to be. So what we've got here, these are all forget-me-nots, which will be coming up in the spring. And again, forget-me-nots seed like crazy, so it's really easy to get them from other gardeners free. You don't need to go and buy them. We've got some verbena, which is a lovely tall plant which the bees love, and we have got another hollyhock which will come up this year, which again sowed itself. They're a really, really good thing. And then on this side there's not much, so I'm going to be putting some bulbs and things in there and some wallflowers and removing the buds. This is a tree pit that hasn't been planted before. You can see from the berries on the ground it's actually a rowan, which is a really lovely tree. It's great for the birds because of the berries. It has flowers in the spring, and it also keeps the witches away, apparently. So good to have outside your house. And obviously this one needs weeding before we do anything else, but also we've got this. This is a buddleia, and buddleias are really beautiful. It has these mauve purple flowers. Butterflies love them, but we really don't want it in a tree pit because it's going to compromise. You can see it's already rubbing up against the rowan. So we're going to get rid of that first, and we're going to do a bit of weeding and then put some plants in here. So you can see that what we're hitting is this stuff which is called breed and gravel, which is put around the trees to keep the weeds down. But as you can see, it doesn't really work. But there are things that will still kind of grow over it. So maybe not put bulbs in that, but things like erigeron, Mexican fleabane, would happily seed itself there. And there are probably some patches here where there is a bit of soil that we can put something in, like here for example. So I put a little forget-me-not here, which again I got free because they self-sow everywhere. They come up, they're pretty blue flowers, they look lovely with daffodils and things at the same time of year. Then they die back, but when they die back they seed, and they drop seeds everywhere, so that's why it's very easy to get hold of them for nothing. The emphasis on doing things for nothing is tree pits can be very frustrating because people steal plants, and they're much more likely to do that if you plant things which are already in bloom that you've bought from somewhere. And dogs use them as toilets, and people tread on them, and sometimes the council come round and spray them or trim them. But it's definitely worth doing, and one of the things we really want to make sure we do is that we're protecting the trees all the time. So we're not adding more compost because we don't want to build that up, and we're not planting anything that's going to compete with the tree. So we don't want ivy climbing up it, or clematis, or anything that's going to threaten the trees, because the trees are beautiful and they've been here a lot longer. What we're planting is going to be great for pollinators and other wildlife, seeds for birds and things. This is verbena, and verbena does remarkably well in very poor soil. So although there's not much soil here because of the gravel, it's probably going to do okay there if it manages to establish itself, and then it will carry on seeding every year. In here I'm just going to put a little wallflower which I got from the reduced, because they were nearly dead, shelf in home base. Practically nothing. And again, if it doesn't thrive, it's not the end of the world, but if it does, it's great. And this is again a self-sown hardy geranium, sometimes called cranesbill. It's almost certainly pink because it's one of the very common ones, but again it's a perennial, which means that if it likes it there, it will just keep coming back year after year after year without actually anything needing to be done to it. And I'm hoping they're going to take, but because of the green gum, I'm going to come back with some seeds that like poor soil, and it's very, very likely that their roots will just find their way down through there. So we'll come back and have a look in the spring and see if anything's survived.